I am bringing exactly that kind of person in right now, who is doing what is not popular, what is not easily rewarded. He has voted more than a dozen times against his party because he believes that shutdowns should be illegal and that this is wrong. He is the senator for Pennsylvania, one of the two, of course, Senator Fetterman, and he joins us now. Big man, thank you for joining us.
Oh, Chris, thank you for inviting me on that great town hall. That was a great experience, and thank you for having here. And now I also got a chance to watch Erica Kirk, and how heroic that is, and the courage to now, after her happened to her husband as a widow, to be able to get on that stage. Regardless, whatever your political views are, you absolutely have to celebrate and applaud her for the kind of courage to do that now.
What do you say to members of your party who may not say this behind a picture of their own face and name, but they'll say, that's weak what you're doing right now. You've got to fight against these people. These people are the enemy. Stop sane washing them. Stop normalizing them. What do you say?
I would just say it's like, a lot of two things have to be true right now. We have to find a way forward. We're going to agree and disagree with a lot of these things, but I'm going to follow like true, what I think is absolutely true now. And now, like, why I've been willing to vote against my party 13 times to not shut our government down. And I just have to follow what I think are truths. And I've been put at the odds with my party at times with following Israel or about securing our border more. But I think what's the response now? All I can do is one vote or my voice through that. And that's why I'm going to continue. And I'm going to participate and speak to everyone. I mean, it's a pleasure to be here with you tonight, or I talk to anybody to have this conversation, because like you said, the marketplace of ideas and free speech, that's how ultimately that needs to prevail. And that's why I'm going to continue to engage in these kinds of conversations.
Do you think you're getting closer to a deal? We hear that the pain is starting to resonate with the different players who may see that it's better to end this. Is that true in your experience?
Boy, I sure hope so. Honestly, and I think we're in a season of two things are true. Now, I do believe that we should extend those tax credits for some folks and make our health care a little more affordable for people. But now we have something bearing down. 42 million Americans depend on SNAP to feed themselves and their family. Can you imagine that kind of a stress? And you have air traffic controllers, air traffic controllers not being paid and stretched to their limits, and these kind of mandatory shifts. I find it more and more difficult to even find flights from Pittsburgh here to DC. And, do you really want to stress our aviation system in the nation right now after that tragic here in DCA less than a year ago? I mean, and now the Capitol Police that protect us here, pay them. Our military, it shouldn't have to rely on a generous citizen to donate to pay them. Pay everybody, open up our government, feed everybody, and now we can engage on a conversation to extend those tax credits. I believe John Thune is an honorable guy, and I do believe we can have a serious conversation about these things. It may not be exactly what we demand, but that's democracy, and that's what America decided we're going to be in the minority, and it's always wrong. I don't care if it's the Democrats or the Republicans shutting our government down. My views aren't going to change, because our core responsibility is to keep our government open and to continue to engage. And remember that that's how democracy works, not just because we not have to agree with everything that's happening.
The person who gets a bill made into a law that makes shutdowns illegal is going to be very popular with the majority in this country. Thune has said he is against one-offs to fund, even if it's SNAP. Schumer says there should be a one-off just for SNAP. What do you think of that idea of a one-off?
What I do think, it's like, then you truly have to pick winners or losers. It's like, that's what I'm saying. I want to pay everybody. I want to pay our police. I want to pay the military. I want to pay the employees here. I'd like to remind you, their largest federal union now says, end this now, end this now. Our membership now, they took out over a third of $1 billion in loans just to pay their own bills. A third of $1 billion just to pay that. It's like, this is touching a lot of regular Americans. Now, really confront 42 million Americans depend on SNAP, and that all ends on November 1st. Now, we have our priorities. I want to extend those tax credits. I voted countless times for the Democratic version of that, but it is the wrong tactic to shut our government down, and that's where I'm at with that. So it's like, pay someone, but not them. Do this, but not do that. I mean, at this point now, we need this to end, and we need to engage in an honest conversation to extend that. I stand for two things: healthcare, but I also think it's really important now to feed everybody, pay everybody. And now our government is shut down. Things are going to continue to damage. It's just, at this point, I don't see how this could play much longer, because now when people can't feed their families, what's left? What's left at this point? And things could continue to degrade and break down.
You got a majority of families in this country that are one crisis away from losing everything, whether it's health care or mortgage, and they don't have any savings. And it seems like the parties are doing everything they can to raise the temperature. What's wrong with this solution for Democrats? Republicans, you can have, Senator, what do you think of this idea? Republicans, you can have the reimbursement issue to the states for emergency medical services, for undocumented immigrants, or for anybody. You can have it. You decide what you want the reimbursement rate to be for the states. You can have that issue. We give it to you. You own it, though. You own it. When the states start to complain and people are getting sick and worse, it's on you. We want the subsidies back. That's what we want. You can have the illegals, in quotes. I hate that word, but that's the word they use. You can have the reimbursement rates. You're lying about it. It's only 1% of the Medicaid budget, but you can have it. Why not make that deal?
Well, the deal that I think is entirely appropriate right now in my state, in Pennsylvania, 2 million Pennsylvanians rely on SNAP, but 420,000 Pennsylvanians use those tax credits for their health care. I'm willing to bet that Venn diagram is largely essentially just a circle. And now, right now, they're getting neither. They're getting neither for that.
Yeah.
That's what the danger is. That's why I'm saying I do fundamentally believe many of those people touched by this are going to be red too. They're going to be, no one's going to, hey, are you hungry? They're not going to check your party first. Do you need health insurance? Yeah, we're not going to check your party for that. That's why I'm saying we have to find a way that these two things are true at the same time. And I refuse to vote for something that means 2 million of my constituents are going to go hungry. And that's why we can work together. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Senator, so after you did the town hall, we were flooded with people who were saying, yes, I don't agree with everything this guy says, but it's obvious that he's trying to do the right thing. It's not party first, it's country first. He seems great. And I realize that when we have talked, and whether it's, offline or on TV, I find you to be incredibly responsive. You're very expansive in your thoughts. What is the update for people about where you are physically in terms of your health? Because a lot of people are going to start betting on you for the next level. What do you want people to know?
Well, what I'm saying, it's like I'm actually just fantastic. I mean, honestly, then I don't have really any health issues, and I'm actually truly living my best life, here, honestly. So for me, I really gonna follow what I think happens to be true. And I'm always going to be country over party. I'm always going to be overpaying our military over the party. I'm always going to be like 42 million. 42 million Americans on SNAP, I'm going to vote for them. I'm not going to really worry about what my party thinks at that time right now. So for me, here's where we are. And as a Democrat, I am incredibly, I've been disappointed, and I refuse to have a political gamble that's going to put those kinds of food security for 42 million Americans at risk on this. Now, some people might be afraid of the extreme left, but I am not one. I am not one of those Dems. And that's why I would rather be the Democrat that says, hey, I have very democratic values. I do. But that doesn't mean I might agree or disagree on some things, but you're going to know exactly what I happen to believe. Now, it's just too much of a risk that I'm willing to take to put millions and millions of Americans for a position that there really is no answer other than open up our government. And I'm not going to say I'll pay you, but I'm not going to pay you, and value the kinds of contributions that they make for our society. They're all equal in a sense, and they deserve to be paid. And now we're getting paid. We are, all of us in Congress, are we getting paid? So how can we sit here and say, well, who's winning, who's losing, but I'm getting paid. I don't have to worry about these things. But, World Kitchen was feeding employees at the Department of Transportation. I walked to work here and I passed them. I'm like, this is wild. They're going to be in Jamaica. They're going to be in Cuba, probably feeding people after a hurricane. And now that's where they belong. It's like they shouldn't be here in Washington, D.C., feeding our federal government workers because they deserve to get paid. They've taken out over $250 million to just pay their own bills. We have crossed the point of absurdity. And now we got to figure out a day to work together and find a thing, but open this up and all of this trauma and all of this chaos ends. And that's when the conversation decides to engage and find a way for making healthcare more affordable for millions of Americans.
Well, let me tell you, Senator, a lot of people are feeling what you're saying and that you're more about the fix than you are just about some empty fight of one side against the other. So thank you for being an honest broker and joining us here on News Nation. I appreciate you, and I look forward to speaking to you again.
No, thank you, and have me back. I'll always show up. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to just have an honest conversation about the circumstances here. So thank you so much.
Well, you're always going to have an honest conversation here for no reason other than when we shook hands the first time, you almost crushed my fingers. So you're always going to have an honest conversation out of me. I promise you that. Senator, take care. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.